Hey CBC Music, I'm Deryck from Sum 41, and these are the 5 songs that changed my life. I would say Stick It In My Eye was the sort of quintessential song. Like when we heard that song, to us, if we could start a band, that song was like the blueprint. That's the sound we wanted to play, like the riffs in it, and just like the melody. It had this great chorus. It was kind of everything. It had this really cool bass intro. When we started the band, Dave wasn't in the band yet, and Cone wasn't in the band for another year or so after that. When Dave was going to join the band, we had him play that song as the audition to join the band. And then another year and a half later, when Cone joined the band, we're like, if you can play Stick It In My Eye, you can be in the band. And so that was like the initiation song for us. I think when we first met those guys in Fat Mike, we were probably pretty starstruck. I mean, we were about 19, I think, when we first met them. So we got to know each other through just hanging out every day. And we realized we share a lot of the same interests of partying and drinking and staying up all night and doing bad things. So we got along really well right from the beginning. Yeah, so I was obsessed with the Monkees when I was really young, mostly from the TV show. And I also had this collection of tapes. In the 80s, they used to do this thing at I think it was Shell gas station, where if you got a certain dollar amount of gas, you would get a tape out of this collection. I think it was like a 10 collection tape. Daydream Believer was on one of those cassettes, and I knew it from the show and from that tape. And I was just obsessed with the Monkees. And I didn't even know that they were an old band and that was an old show. I thought it was current. I just thought they were around. When I was 6, they did a reunion tour. My parents took me to the show, and I remember sitting there watching the show, just thinking back then that that's what I want to do. I want to go up on stage, because I was seeing people performing music that I'd listened to. It's not just this music on a tape. It's like people do this. I want to do that. I didn't know who the Stones really were, but I knew I loved that song. Where I heard that song, again, was from TV. It was a theme song for a Vietnam show called Tour of Duty. I really think it's just a Canadian show, but for whatever reason, that was the theme song. It's never lost. It kind of spoke to me back then of what a cool song, what a cool guitar thing. And then when the drums come in, everything was just, it's so hypnotic, And so when we covered it, that was part of the reason why we covered it. It originally came from, the idea of the cover came from our guitar player Tom, because he had played that with his band Gob. But we never intended it to be on the record. We just recorded it just for fun, and we actually liked how it turned out, so we decided to put it on the record. Doing the version that we did of Painted Black right now shows the greatness of them as songwriters. We took that song and completely changed it, and it still really works. I don't feel like the song doesn't sound good. It sounds like a great fucking song. No Action really inspired a lot of my songwriting around that time for All Killer No Filler and Fat Lip in general. No Action inspired the chorus for Fat Lip. In my head, I was just trying to do something that I thought could be as good as that. I was just listening to that song on repeat, that whole album on repeat, and I was like, man, I really want to write a song as good as No Action. And I just kind of came out with this chorus with the I don't want to waste my time part, and that was me trying to sort of compete with that song. So I have favorite writers, and they're for different things, and I kind of hold them equal. Tom Petty is one of my favorite songwriters of all time, and so is Elvis Costello, and they're completely opposite. Petty is super simple. Elvis is the complete opposite. So many words, so many syllables, so many chord changes in a really short amount of time, and to me, just as powerful. So that song and that record, again, was a big influence on me in my late teens, and influenced my songwriting. Those chord progressions on that record specifically, and that song. I went from major chords, it's not very technical, but it is a technical thing of major chords, which sound happier and more fun, to darker minor chords, which is what I was picking up from Social Distortion. And it starts with this really cool sound. it stuck with me for so long. I was just always wishing like I could get a sound as good as that. And I'm always like, researching what was that sound and all that. Cut to 20 something years later, all of a sudden I find out that the producer who made that record, who had that guitar, was going to sell his equipment. And the guitar that was used for that song and that whole record was up for sale. And now it's sitting right over on that wall right there. I had to buy it. That guitar, that sound, and the songwriting in that record really inspired me, a long time ago, and is probably a big reason why we're sitting here right now.